Oh, I don't want to be right there. Hey, how's it going? Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah. Are you rolling weight? Good. So obviously this is your first, well, not your first because you've done several of these before, but
Never done it.
I know. But you're talking to us now as someone who is fully committed into your MMA training. You're with Roufusport. How's it going? That's obviously the first question is how does the real training feel for you?
Oh, it's super awesome and it's super fun. I'm a fan of knowledge, so every day for me is a good day because I'm always learning something. Recently moved up to Milwaukee because I've been commuting to and from Chicago every day. Sometimes I'd get a hotel, you know what I mean? But still, like I think the driving again started to beat me up more than the training. So I'm 10 minutes away from the gym now. Makes everything a lot better. So my typical day is I train at least 3 times, I think, honestly. Yeah. I'm going in early before pro class. Hey, hi. Is this a Vine?
This is Periscope.
Oh, wow. I don't even know what that is. But I'm sorry. I mean, Periscope's awesome. So like I'll go in an hour early before pro class, and I'll work mitts or I'll do jiu-jitsu, and then do the pro class. Be exhausted, drive home, 8 minutes, eat, sleep, walk my dog, go back, for some Muay Thai or to hit more pads, and it's a lot, but I know what I signed up for, and I'm having fun.
And why did you choose that gym? Obviously they've made champions there, but what was it that you really felt that you connected with?
I've known Duke for a while, he was always a super cool guy to me. I've known Eric Koch for a while, super cool guy. Same thing with Anthony Pettis, same thing with Sergio. And I didn't know Ben Askren prior to me coming there to train, but Ben to me is the best wrestler in MMA. So it was sort of a no-brainer. Close to home, I could go home anytime I needed to. If say the Blackhawks are in the playoffs or something like that. But I also really felt, and I've said this a lot, so I apologize for repeating myself, but I wasn't sacrificing quality of training just to be close to home, if that makes sense. And everybody there has been super nice, super accommodating. They don't take it easy on me. They're not treating me with kid gloves or anything like that. They realize that I'm serious about this, and they're serious about helping me get better.
Certainly you've trained before. We know that that's really why you got into this in the first place, as you are familiar with things. But has there been one skill set that you felt that you were on a more difficult learning curve? Maybe it was jiu-jitsu, maybe it was, Muay Thai, I don't know. But is there one particular skill that you thought, this is harder than I realized?
Well, I think wrestling is probably my hardest day, just because that's the grind, you know what I mean? You're constantly in somebody's face, you're not trying to give up any ground, and that's no secret. I didn't wrestle in high school or anything like that, and everybody I trained with did, so they have a lifetime of experience. But I love that, because what better place to get better at the one thing you're bad at, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, it's a grind, but I don't quit, and every day is a learning experience. And like I said, I'm in love with it. It's fun. Like I'll get beat up and tired, but like I'll be the guy that just keeps standing up and just like, all right, let's just go again. I'll get you one of these days.
And when you were first announced as a UFC signing, there were some people here who thought that a pro wrestler shouldn't come to MMA. But I'm curious on the reverse side of that. What has the wrestling fan base said to you about this transition? And do you feel that you've convinced some other people that this is a worthwhile thing to check out?
I'm not really concerned what other people's opinions are about me jumping over, but as far as the fan base, I do think there's a lot of crossover, and I do think the old school pro wrestling fans realize that MMA kind of started from pro wrestlers and the genesis of all that. Josh Barnett can explain all of that much better than I can. But yeah, I think I'm bringing a lot of eyes to the product that maybe not necessarily would have watched it prior, but if I can get more people to watch MMA, I think that's great, because I love MMA. I think everybody should watch it.
And how much closer are you to actually debuting?
That's a question for Duke. It's a question for Coach Cush or Daniel or even Ben. I say this all the time too. I'd love to fight tomorrow. You know what I mean? But I want to be as prepared as I possibly can be, and I will be. So I'm still shooting for like December, might be January. I'm not sure, but I'll be ready when I fight.
You said you wouldn't be upset if it was 2016, but
My accountant would love for me to not fight in 2015. But
Yeah, probably right. But I mean, in your mind, is there that nugget of hope that maybe you will have progressed long enough in your training?
Oh yeah,
Do it before the end of the year.
yeah, absolutely. And like I said, that's I never gave anybody a concrete date because I wasn't sure myself. A big part of me wants to fight before the end of the year. I don't want to wait too long, but I kind of view it probably unfairly as like having a kid. And I say that to you because you're a woman, so.
And I do have a child.
Like I know anything about giving birth, but you can plan as much as you want for having a kid, but you're never going to be prepared. Eventually, I have to fight. You know what I mean? And that's to me, that's when I'm probably I'll learn the most. But I just want to make sure I'm as prepared as I possibly can be.
In terms of percentages, what percent are you to be where you need to be? If 100% is where you need to be to walk into the octagon, are you at 50%, 70%?
I don't know. It's a fantastic question. Like I said, that's a question for like Duke. I don't ask my coaches, hey, how did I do today? Hey, am I ready? They say come back at 7, and I come back at 7. They say see you tomorrow. You know what I mean? They tell me to mop, I mop. They tell me to sweep, I sweep. They tell me to go work, mitts or come in extra, I do it. But I don't sit there I don't chase the hug, and I don't go, hey, when am I ready? Did I do good today? Did I do good? You know what I mean? Because I know I'll turn the corner eventually, and they'll come to me and they'll say, we think you're ready. And that's what their job is. They're my coaches. They're not going to send me in there, and I'm getting no pressure from Dana or Lorenzo or anything like that. So I got the best job in the world right now. I just got to train my ass off and work hard.
What's the toughest part of it? Is it the mental aspect of getting ready, or is it the physical part? Because I'm sure there's a lot of thinking.
No, I think I'm as mentally sharp as I possibly can be. I think the better I get, the more mentally sharp I will be. But I'm not even going to say the physical part is hard. I've worked hard my entire life. Juggling everything, juggling real life with all of this, because I'm like an all or nothing kind of guy, that's probably the hardest part. I'm writing comic books, and so to kind of switch gears and go and try to figure out when I can sit down and stare at my computer and type instead of hitting somebody in the face is probably the hardest part of my life right now.
What kind of comic books?
I write for Marvel.
Have you been published?
Yeah.
Like how many?
You need to do your homework, sir.
I know.
What have I done? I did a Thor story in the last Thor annual. I've written a small short story for DC Comics that was published in an anthology called Strange Sports Stories. And right now I'm working on my first full-length book. It's a Drax the Destroyer book. You saw Guardians of the Galaxy, didn't you?
Oh, obviously.
All right. So I'm writing the Drax book.
Nice. Punk, what were those first days of sparring like? There was a lot of discussion, right, that you hadn't been in a fight before, and you said it yourself, you're a white belt, essentially. Then you go into Duke Rufus's gym, one of the nastiest gyms in America, and you start sparring. What did you take away from that? What were those first days like?
I'm a white belt at everything.
It's a good attitude.
And I always will be.
Yeah.
The first days it was more boxing centric.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They weren't so worried about me throwing knees and elbows and kicks and stuff like that. I mean, I got beat up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I do think there's a part of me that they tested me to see if I'd throw in the towel or I'd quit.
Yes.
But I just kept coming back. Like I said, they'd beat me up and they'd be like, all right, good job, come back at 7, and I'd be like, all right.
Guess I'll have to. What were those like compared to the days on the road back in the WWE, the bumps you took then to the fights and sparring you're having now?
I don't think you can really compare the two. No. You know what I mean? I get to sleep in my own bed every day.
Maybe there's a pain factor. Is one more painful than the other? Or are you like Rambo? Pain don't affect me. Pain's pain.
Geez, you really threw me on that one. The Rambo.
That's good, right?
No,
not good. No, okay.
No, I haven't encountered anything that made me really think, oh, that sucks. I don't ever want to do that again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like I didn't know what sparring was. I knew what it was. You know what I mean? So I just,
punch in the face.
roll with the punches.
There you go.
Yeah.
You had some fun with Yoel Romero's No for gay Jesus. You said that you were in fact gay Jesus and put a picture out there.
I don't know.
What's your stand on that? On religion? In fighting, we always talk. Well, do you know what I mean? Like when people, I'm sorry, but you know what I mean? Like the guy.
Let me say this: like nobody else here would get away with that shit. Nobody. So, okay, what's the question?
Well, sir, my question is, when you hear somebody at first after a win give all praise to Jesus and that kind of thing, do you feel that that's not the place for that? Do you feel that that should be left outside, or does it is what it is?
No, I'm a free speech guy. I think anybody can say whatever they want, That being said, if there is a God, and I'm an atheist, I don't believe there is, I think he's got better things to do than worry about what somebody's doing for 15 minutes in a cage. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to see people thank their coaches more than Jesus. You know what I mean? I think their coaches probably helped them win. I just think it's a weird thing to do. They're free to worship, do whatever they want. They're free to talk about it, and just like I'm free to make fun of them for it, they can make fun of me for being a phony pro wrestler fighting in MMA now.
And that's really what it was. Your picture was really just you having a little bit of a laugh with this whole.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know you well. I hope to meet him someday. I'm sure he's a nice guy. He's got a really, really thick accent. You know what I mean? So but I do think his general message was he was pretty disappointed that we legalized gay marriage, and like he's allowed to say that. That's the great thing about this country. He's absolutely allowed to say it, and I'm allowed to poke fun of him on Twitter about it. It's the way it works.
Are you still undecided about whether you're going to fight as a welterweight or a middleweight? Do you know where you feel most comfortable?
I woke up at like 190 this morning, so I mean I could make 185 in a couple hours if I needed to. So I think fighting at 185 would probably be a bad idea. Those guys are a lot bigger than me, and I think 170 is doable. So I plan on doing a test weight cut with Eric Koch for his fight in Chicago at the end of the month, but now he's out, so I gotta switch things around and do my planned test weight cut somewhere else.
I think there's someone trying to poke his head in here. Give a little.
Oh hey!
Teammate.
What up, brother?
How you doing? Good. How are you? Can't complain.
Would you fly in from Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Did you get
You're
screwed up
supposed to
too?
be in that flight?
I think I might have, but there was a mix-up. I had to get my dog somewhere, so I had to
So wait, 185?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Hell no.
I thought you said 185, right?
No. I was just talking about how it was a bad idea, probably.
All right, good to see you, bro.
The dude has swagger. Come on.
Oh, him?
Yeah.
He's a handsome man.
Could you wear those glasses, or would you wear those glasses?
No, I'm not a sunglasses guy. No, I don't do sunglasses.
You have a lot of established fighters at Rufus. Even though you had to make your debut, do you feel like you're treated now as an equal, as opposed to just like the new guys? Maybe a lot of people thought you'd be treated. Do you think you're officially one of them, even though you haven't stepped in the octagon yet officially?
I feel I'm one of them because they always tell me that. Probably once every 3 weeks when we huddle at the end of a practice, I kind of take the time and I say, hey guys, I just want to reiterate, thanks for having me here. Thanks for letting me train here. Thanks for everybody being cool. Nobody's trying to break my ankle or anything like that. And they always, shut up, you're part of the team. So yeah, it's definitely team atmosphere.
Who's the toughest guy to deal with during training? Who do you dread having to work with every day?
Nobody. I don't dread having to work with anybody. I mean, there's guys that frustrate me for sure, but there's some people that have been fighting for 8 years. They were wrestling their entire lives. You know what I mean? I always do say I like to spar with Ben though, because I know it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like I don't care if I don't care who you are. Ben gets his hands on you, he's going to take you down. So, to me, that puts me in a bad spot immediately, and I get to work from underneath, and I get to, learn defense and stuff like that. So, there really isn't a person I dread having to do anything with because, like I love knowledge. I'm going to learn something from everybody.
What is the best lesson that you've learned from any of these guys, such as Anthony Pettis, when it comes to striking? What has he taught you?
I mean, so much. There's so many little things like footwork. His footwork's sick. And everyone's always just talking about, the spectacular things he does, and I think that starts with footwork. It starts with your movement, knowing when to move, where to move, stuff like that.
Was there a moment at all when you started doing this that you ever questioned, what did I get myself into?
No, not at all. Not at all. There's a moment at the tail end of my wrestling career where I went, what the fuck am I doing with my life? You know what I mean? So this is 100%. It's joy. It really is. I wake up every day, regardless of whether I had a good day or a bad day at the gym the day prior, and I'm excited to go to work. That I haven't felt that in I don't know how long. I don't feel this pressure to perform. I know where I was the night before. I'm not traveling. You know what I mean? It's super, super nice.
One of the things is physically, how do you feel? Because they talk about the bumps in the road, things like that, but you're probably eating different, you're training different. So how does your body feel?
I feel great. I feel better than I have in years. I think that's pretty noticeable too. Just not traveling so much. It helps you out. Not having to search for somewhere to eat at 3 a.m. Sleeping in your own bed. These are all things that I haven't done in 10 years. So it's been exciting to, like I said, sleep in my own bed. Go to work every day, be excited about it. I'll get black eyes and bloody noses and bruises up and down my legs, and my shins are purple. But like I can deal with the bumps and the bruises. That's no problem.
We're going to jump.
Pro wrestling. Everything's about